All right, Joe, we're already late. You got to play that intro.
Okay,
You're
so
killing us.
I went a slightly different direction this time based on Kevin's earlier comments of it being too loud.
Okay, different intro. Wow, this
So
is
you ready?
exciting. I've never seen this.
I'm going to mix it up. You haven't seen it. Here we go.
No.
How was
I think
that?
you might have overcorrected.
You don't think so? I think it's not very loud. It just eases people right into it.
Yeah, but it's not really like a pick me up. You know, listen, I'll be honest. I got up before 5. I ran 7 miles this morning, pretty fast, and I need something to pick me up. I was zoning out.
You know, I do what I can. I had the other one. We still have it. We can go back to it. I know sensitive people with, it's too loud. So I decided to go the other direction, ease right into it, draw not too much attention to anything, calm people down.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure to get in how much I ran this morning. So that's the important thing. Okay.
There we go.
So we got that in. That's not even a humble brag. That's just a regular brag.
All right.
So what do we want to talk about today? Oh, we've got lots to talk about.
We do.
Do you want to talk about the Greppies first?
Yeah, let's do that. That sounds good.
All right. So as I'm sure everyone knows now, the Greppies will be next Friday in this time, in this virtual location, via noon next Friday. And we're going to have, there'll be 6 categories. There'll be 5 that are going to be voted on, and then 1 that we're just awarding to the best leveraging of resources by a Triangle startup. And there'll be a Reader's Choice Award and a choice by the judges. And we'll actually have, I don't know, do we call them the judges or the nominating committee? What do you want to call them?
I don't know. I mean, I think that judges is fine. Let's keep it simple.
All right. Yeah, judges. Okay, well, we will have as a guest later this morning, or I guess this afternoon now, Mr. Delgado was one of the esteemed panel. And we can grill him on his choices now.
Yes, we definitely will do that.
Spoilers at this point. But let's run down quickly. Almost 1,000 people have voted. Let me see if it's down over 1,000. 999. Wow, that's so someone can go right now and they can be our 1,000th. What should we give the 1,000th voter? Do we have a prize that maybe we can give them?
I don't think anything. Yeah, I don't know. We could give them. Well, so first talk about the Greppies. I have one too, and we could talk.
Okay, yeah. That was a bit of a spoiler. Okay, so yes, there is just about 1,000 people voted. So the 5 categories people are voting for: best small startup, best medium size startup, best large startup, most impactful individual, and best on-campus startup. Do you want to know? Whip through what the nominees are?
I absolutely want to. That's
okay. So best small startup, Blue Recruit. This is alphabetically. Courtroom 5, Clearly. Used to be Clearly Analytics. I still call them that, and they get very upset with me, even though their CEO is a Mets fan. Insight Finder and Wrangle. Okay. Medium-sized startup, Allstacks, Lonewell, Pattern Health, Reveal Mobile, and Revive Technologies. Let's go with the watch. Best large startup. No, that's not true. Pendo, Real Magic / Levitate, Second Nature, Spiffy, and Spoonflower. Now, I will confess, in the newsletter, I accidentally put Pendo twice instead of Second Nature. And Spiffy's CEO, Scott Wingo, he lampooned that on Twitter, made it sound like he was going against Pendo. It was like Pendo, Spiffy, Pendo, and Spoonflower. But, way over the line.
It is over the line, but this is a high stakes competition.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot on the line.
Inaugural Greppies, and so people need to take it seriously. And I'm glad to see Scott, Single T Scott, takes it as seriously as it needs to be.
Well, he's in part, he's working the crowd because he's also up in most impactful individual, Robbie Allen, Jesse Lipson, Todd Olson, which is another reason why he had Pendo on the brain, Joe Procopio, and Scott Wingo. And then best on-campus startup, I think folks probably won't know their names, so they should go on GrepBeat.
Yeah.
And we have little profiles, capsules.
Vote for your favorite, play out your college loyalties.
Not your favorite. Vote for what sounds like the best startup. We have the information there. We've got stories about them. You should go. This is not a popularity contest. Of course, if you want to make it a popularity contest and share things widely, then, I guess if people want to do that, that's what they can do. People can do it however they want.
Voters need to be informed and then get informed through GrepBeat, right? And they have a specific page on the GrepBeats that, we have a specific post that kind of links all the stories. And
we have one that has little capsules on all of the nominees. And then, then they can vote. There's a Google form and get those votes. Let me see if we cracked 1,000 while it's sitting here. Nope, still $9.99. So is this thing on? I'm not sure. I guess people are making sure they're tuning in and they don't want to miss a second of the Friday Nooner. Okay, so we did. Now, you held up something.
Well, yes, I did, as you did as well. So
these are. Do you want to say what they are?
Well, let's talk about. It's our journey into NFTs, right? So.
Yes.
A few weeks ago, and I think it all went down. It was a last week thing.
Last week we announced it.
We had crafted an NFT, or was mysteriously created by Greppo of this portrait.
Yeah, right. No one knows who the artist is.
No one knows, and we took this painting, digital painting, and posted on OpenSea, or that basically is a marketplace for NFTs, and it's kind of emerging, and I think it's out of New York. And so,
it'll be public by next week. I think they'll have an IPO next week, probably.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know if they're IPO. They just got 23 million in VC, but and then we let we wanted to kind of learn about NFTs, and so we put it out there, and we let the bidding happen, and we had like a lot of Robbie Allen, pretending to be. Jason Kaplan, and
we gave credit last week to Jason Kaplan for his bidding.
Mistakenly,
but he was not bidding.
Mistakenly. And so, but in the end, you talk about the winner and then what that meant.
Oh, you want me to? Okay, yes. So Steve Klein,
yes,
winner, right? Former co-founder of CEO of Status Page. IO, right? You guys use them, right? At Bronte?
Yeah, and they got purchased by Atlassian.
Atlassian,
yeah. And so he won, but like the day before, I had printed up 100 magnets and 3 canvases from Canvas on Demand. That
so you did that even before it was the auction was completed?
Oh yeah, because I didn't want to run into any licensing issues.
Oh, because you felt like you still owned or some Greppo. So do you know Greppo? I feel like
did I say order these? I don't even know who ordered these because I'm not legally liable. But we seriously received these magnets and 3 canvases that we're supposed to receive today, by the way.
They were addressed to Calvi Ventures. So
yeah, that was part of just a coincidence. So I think we have a little bit of a promotion going on.
Right. Yes. So, I mean, why am I revealing? You just told me about it like 20 minutes
ago. Okay. So I think if people email in their name, like who they are and their address, like the first 20 some people or whomever, we only got 100 of these, then we will mail you one that you proudly can put on your refrigerator.
Right. So anyone who wants, for some reason, I don't know if even any of my family members will want them. So I'm just going to slap it on their fridge.
Yeah, they'll want it.
Before they notice. My parents won't notice for a while. They have a lot of magnets on their fridge.
Clear the way of all those pizza and medical appointment magnets. And just
but they also do a lot when they travel. They like getting magnets they take a lot of cruises. They haven't in some time, but they already have booked some cruises.
So
but when on different islands, they get the little magnets.
There's so much there. So So when they go, but they always go to the same little islands, and they get the magnet. So my family, what we
They
started
don't always
doing,
go to the same islands, but yes, they have been to some of the same islands multiple times.
10 years ago, we started going after the spoons. You know, you get the little spoons, and we use them as teaspoons. We have them from all these different countries. They're like the little.
You actually use them?
Yeah, I do. They actually kind of get wrecked after a while if you put them in the dishwasher. But yeah, we have them from like all like places in Africa and Asia and like South America. We have all these like whole bunch of little set spoons. So you can choose your country.
Okay. But so Steve Klein's, though, his winning bid, just so everyone's clear, that was donated then to the North Carolina Museum of Art.
Yes.
That's what we were supporting. But there has been some issues raised on Twitter for making these fridge magnets, but Steve Klein owns the copyright to the Pete.
He owns,
so what,
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, does he own?
We can't sell them, right?
Does he own the rights to this? All I'm going to say is, I think Steve needs a lawyer up, and then we'll see. And if you have one, be prepared for a legal battle from Steve. And then if he does decide to lawyer up, we have lots of good tech IT lawyers in the triangle that he can go with.
For example, Foursquare Business Law, which sponsored March Magnet. So let's mention them. Hutchison, which was the sponsor for the first quarter of the newsletter. Oh, news@grepbeat.com. That's where you should email if you want to. I don't know if you even call it winning. If you want one, we'll give it to you. So write in, give us your address, because they're cheaper. You know what's not cheap to mail? The Grepbeat mugs. They're like $8. That's why we ended up driving them around to people.
But you know, in the world,
intern spending a couple hours driving around the triangle is a lot cheaper than $7 per mailing.
But you know, what also is going up in the spirit of blockchain is crypto this week. Obviously, Coinbase, they had their big IPO. That's kind of a really big deal. I think it was over 100 billion or close to 100 billion dollars.
Right.
So
going up and down already.
Well, you know, any IPO is a highly risky endeavor. Plus, those people, when they go through IPO, they're under lock. Other employees, they're locked up, so they can't sell it for a certain amount of time, anyways. And so it's usually 6 months or a year. So I don't.
So you're saying Brian Armstrong can't be spending his many billions of paper?
You can't sell a stock. Yeah. Now it's possible before this transaction. He might have sold some before, but you can't typically, for good reason, right?
I understand. I understand the lockup period. Come on. Good. I didn't fall off the turnip truck here.
Good. Well, that's why I tend not to invest in IPOs. And
I don't think I have a chance to be. This was not a traditional IPO. This was just one of those.
That's right.
Listings.
That's right. Now you say,
it wasn't a SPAC either. It was just kind of a.
It was kind of different. So direct
listings. But then I don't know if you saw that Dogecoin is also up a lot yesterday, in part because Elon Musk tweeted something. It was like there's this maybe surrealist painting called Dog Barking at the Moon. Okay. And he renamed it Doge Barking at the Moon. And that shot it up in the value. And then Dogecoins were started as like a joke, literally a joke. Like 7 years ago, they had the
dog. I read the Dallas Mavericks, they're going to take it, except for tickets and stuff like that. You can now pay in Dogecoin or something. I don't know.
I mean, they're just trying to be hipster. Yeah. Because honestly, if you have Dogecoin, you're presumably buying because it's speculative investment. You don't want to spend it on like a ticket.
I think people are very skilled in tapping into whatever the trends are.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So one other, we didn't mention there's a new richest person in North Carolina, apparently, overnight. Well, I guess maybe earlier this week.
I think it speaks to some interesting changing tides in the triangle.
Right. And so as reported in Grepbeat earlier this week, Epic Games had a new funding round, raised another $1 billion, and was valued at $28.7 billion. And so that shot CEO Tim Sweeney up the paper value list, and so now they're estimating him at 7.4 billion. And Jim Goodnight did not have a good night because he went to bed as the wealthiest man in North Carolina, and he wakes up the next day. He's been passed by like almost $1 billion. He's hanging in there with 6.5 billion. So
obviously, anyone who has billions is doing very well for themselves, and SAS has been a major contributor to the area. But like, it's interesting for a lot of different reasons. One is, I think SAS the last few years is starting to kind of falter a little bit, and so their relevance is becoming tougher, right? Obviously, they're still huge, but they're not necessarily the same growth engine.
I'll be honest, I don't even know 100% what they do.
Well, it's statistical software. So most universities and large institutions would use them essentially as a crunch numbers. And they built this platform, which is that Goodnight was a statistics professor, right? NC State back in the day, he and his co-founders. And then from that, you can model a whole bunch of different complex things. And they've basically built this very large global business around this platform, right? But more entrants have come in, and it's just a more competitive market. And my hunch is Goodnight's gotten older. It's been a little bit harder to run it as this benevolent dictatorship. But what's fascinating about it is that business was really it's run as an S corp, is for most part just kind of did their own thing and got to be huge. And Epic Games, for the most part, obviously they have, was it Tencent or the
Tencent? No, Chinese one. They bought 40%.
For most part, they didn't. And that guy, he's not
like 300-something million. So he's
not from around here, right? And they kind of grew it here, but he wasn't really involved in the local tech scene either. Kind of come from the gaming side, and so, but yet now it's going to be like the new big fish, big independent fish on the block, and also both of them being in Cary. So that's kind of an interesting coincidence as well. So, anyways, it's neat to see.
And I'm very curious to see what they do to that mall they just bought.
Yeah, that would be
uses their HQ.
Yeah, near us in Durham, Northgate Mall is going to be demolished, but I don't think there's any.
Is the Northgate Mall actually open? Are some things open? Anytime I've gone there, I literally can't tell whether it's abandoned or not abandoned.
It's like been half open for a little while.
Okay. What is it going to be then?
Well, I think they're going to demolish some of it. I think Duke's using some of it for medical offices and things like that. And probably the other half they're going to.
So Penda doesn't need it. There maybe like Teamworks should.
Maybe something smaller, like a Teamworks across.
Yeah, just take it over. Take the whole thing over. Teamworks is right across the street. I can see Teamworks.
There you go.
From where I'm sitting right here.
Hey, it's about that time. Should we bring on?
We'll bring on our guest. Okay, so today, as I mentioned up top, we are welcoming Lister Delgado. He's a managing partner at Idea Fund Partners. And let's bring him on.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Doing well. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you very well. Great. Joe, did you know that Lister's son, I don't know if he's still there or he graduated, but went to the finest liberal arts college in the land?
I do know that, and the reason is
Williams College, just for the record.
You seem to bring up all things Williams quite a bit.
Yeah, so someone's got to.
Whenever given the opportunity. So yes, I am aware of that.
But Steve Case went to Williams. I'm sure you know that, right?
I did know that. Yes. But don't bring up Steve Case to Joe. Joe's still bitter. He doesn't like the Rise of the Rest name.
Yeah, I don't like the
Rise of the Losers is how he hears it.
I don't have a big issue with Steve Case, but I don't care for the name so much. Rise of the Rest. I think it's kind of like obliviously offensive.
I will say Steve Case is not very involved with Williams, so I could take him or leave him, which is unusual, frankly. For Williams is a small school. Generally, people are more like me tout it often, whereas Steve Case doesn't seem to do too much.
So have a very strong network, right? A very strong alumni.
Oh, a very strong network. Yes. Just not Steve Case. He's not helping.
Well, it's a small. It's a small school, right? So you're cast off in the forests of Western Massachusetts. As a afterthought,
Right.
Amherst, which was kind of seen as
Whoa.
Williams 2.0. Oh, that's not true. That's how they look
Afterthought.
at it.
They were defectors, the hated defectors of 1823. Have we not gone through this?
Isn't it kind of like an America, UK kind of thing? It's like we defected and did better.
No. First of all, there's no way, there's no scenario in which you're going to portray me as the UK.
Okay, Red
My family is Irish. There's no this. I'm literally going to get off this thing right now. I'm so offended.
All right. I'm just saying, that's fine.
I can barely see. I'm seeing the same color as my Gret Beat shirt. You need to handle the question. Ask Lister something.
Okay, so Lister, we've obviously thrown Pete, or I have thrown Pete for a loop, and he's going to process it and just mentally work through all that we've said. But hey, how's it going? What's new with you?
Nothing seems to be new. I think every day feels like a Wednesday. So is it Wednesday right now?
Hump day?
Might as well be.
Tomorrow will be a Wednesday. Sunday will be a Wednesday. Wednesday will be a Wednesday. So nothing seems to be new. Everything seems to be the same. It's just this.
The deals are back to normal.
What are you seeing in the market?
Right?
We are seeing a lot of deals. In fact, we're seeing probably more deals than ever because we can invest all over the world. In fact, I'm looking at a company in Israel, believe it or not. I'm a little bit afraid about that. Investing potentially in a company outside of the U.S. We wouldn't invest in a company in Israel. They would have to move to the U.S. So,
yeah.
But the interesting thing I think about the COVID situation is that it really homogenizes where companies can be built, where investors can look for companies. This whole advantage I think that Silicon Valley has had over places like us, I think over time is going to go away in both ways for investors as well as for entrepreneurs. So I think that's what's interesting. We'll see in a couple of years how that evolves.
Yeah. So, I mean, Lister, we go back and you certainly remember the whole .com boom and bust. And one of the thesis is like, hey, the internet means we can be anywhere and it doesn't matter. And we don't need to aggregate as people in the same way. Where in, and obviously COVID's a different situation, where in fact, San Francisco, people aggregate even more in the Bay Area,
right.
Even more in New York. Now, but every change is a little bit different, right? A lot of people are moving away from the Bay Area because
I think that's what it is. And maybe sometimes these changes happen much slower than we think. Mm-hmm. You heard about the wave of people moving out of Silicon Valley into Texas or Florida.
Yeah.
And maybe it just took a little longer than we thought, but it is happening. And investors, I just don't feel like investors in either coast are looking for companies to move there in order for them to invest. I just don't think that is a requirement as it used to be.
Yeah.
And also it's much easier to build a company and be virtual. I think that's the acceptance of virtual companies is also much more prevalent.
That's a lot of people ask about what's the future of work, right? How to kind of think about it. And a lot of the abilities to be virtual or not be in one of these hotspots has been around for a long time, but now everything's a lot smoother. I mean, everyone is too familiar with Zoom and all the different streaming sharing technologies, and
we have better tools. We have better processes, better environments. So it's easier to do certain things.
Are you, in what you're seeing in companies, are you seeing the nature of those companies kind of different? Just because of COVID, maybe people are more focused on certain topics or less focused on other topics, or
more e-commerce. Or
earlier we were talking about crypto, and obviously those valuations are crazy. NFTs, any of that stuff, or not so much.
And what are you seeing more of?
I think there's two things. One is what's out there and also what we look at. So what I see is not necessarily a reflection of everything out there, because I do tend to say I'm going to follow this particular trend or this particular thesis, and I'm going to go deep in that thesis. So what I'm looking at is not necessarily a reflection of everything going on out there, but rather a reflection of what I decided to pursue. Mm-hmm. But the future,
what are you guys pursuing now?
The future of the enterprise is definitely one area that we're very interested in. And some of the more interesting investment theses happen during changes like this. There are moments like this when there's significant title shifts, right? And I think it's a little bit early to tell exactly what is happening, but the changes are happening now. I was looking at a company, but the way in which people work is definitely one interesting thesis out there. I was looking at a company last week that is building a platform to allow entrepreneurs or startups or anybody really to have a hybrid working environment. Because as you start to go virtual, and maybe some people want to be in a physical location, how you communicate, how you work with people, logistically, it creates some challenges. So setting up a meeting, setting up a conversation. Yeah, we have email and Zoom, but how do you know whether you're going to meet with someone in person or whether that person is going to be on this day working remotely? It's actually more complicated than we think.
Yeah.
So those hybrid environments. So the tools and the features that are being built to allow for a more hybrid work environment, I think is going to be interesting. And I think a lot of industries are going to change. Education is changing hugely. Yeah. We are recognizing how badly prepared schools are. I think public schools are great when things are steady state. But now I think you see the private schools reacting more quickly to some of the demands of the virtual environment.
Well, I think it's the nature of the size, right? I mean, I mean, for example, my kids go to the Durham Public Schools. There's 33,000 people in that system. They have to, as a public system, they have to deal with, accommodate with people with a disability. I mean, a whole range of different issues, busing, economic issues, where I think a small private school, obviously it's challenging, but it's like way different scale.
I mean, they're like startups versus the big company. They can
just move.
Education, and this is not just college education, but K through 12.
Yeah.
A set of challenges. I mean, there's a ton of technology that is going to go, not even just towards. I'm not talking about the technology to present content to kids, but rather the back office, the stuff to manage the way in which education works.
Yeah.
Or the same thing with health, right? I mean, I think some of these changes have been more obvious, but the way in which health works in a virtual and also in a more in a
telehealth is a good example. Yeah. Without even getting into, I've started reading Code Breakers by Walter Isaacson. And it's about CRISPR and the RNA splicing, which we're now benefiting from. These, the Pfizer and the Moderna vaccines are based on this kind of technology of RNA on the RNA side versus the DNA side. And it's kind of fascinating. And it's all happening. It's like I think history, every once in a while we take like a big leap forward, right? And we'd accelerate, whether it's because of a war or whatever. And I think this is one of those.
Necessity, the mother of invention. I just made that.
Yeah.
I just made that up right now. I needed to.
Could I get the NFT, and how much Dogecoin would I have to spend to get
for NFT?
What of that quote?
Oh, have that quote? I don't know. If I tweet it out, then I can.
Because I'd like to put it on the magnet, like this one. Lister, you don't have one of these magnets, do you?
It's not like there are magnets of inspirational quotes.
Lister, if you send us your email us somehow. We
have his email.
I am desperate to get one of those. Yeah.
For work and home, and your kid's Williams dorm fridge, because I'm sure that's probably a real highlight.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was at one time a big figure up there. Maybe not anymore. In the sports information office, they had a little shrine to me. But now, I guess now that I'm not at Sports Illustrated, I'm probably not as much in the upper echelon of the Williams Sports Information Department.
Sorry to hear that, Pete.
That's okay.
I'll ask my son to see if he's heard of you. How's that?
Yeah, I don't think he's.
You don't think so?
No.
He's a senior.
I'm not on the Wikipedia page or anything. I was, for a time on the Wikipedia page of my high school, and then at some point got kicked off. I was like, apparently I'm not.
That can happen, huh?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. It was very harsh. yeah, once they just kind of like, he's not even an SI anymore.
I thought Wikipedia just kept growing and growing. I thought nothing ever got.
No, I guess something. Well, we're Regis, So Tony Fauci, he's got to be now number one. Dr. Fauci, of course, he went to my high school, so he got it moved up. There had to be a lot of reshuffling. Some people got to go. He was already on the list, but now he's
really
most
high.
famous. Yeah.
So, hey Pete, so I think we've gotten to our time.
Have you done a new outro, or is that going to be the same?
I have. I did the bookends just so.
Okay.
It's all very calm. We can go back to the other one next week, but
all right. So first, let's thank our guest, Lister.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, this was fun. And now, Joe, play your outro. I'll see if I can stay awake.
We're gonna ease right into it.
Oh, sorry, it's over. End broadcast. Sorry.